Warner Media, Jason Keeler. We as fans implore you and ask you to restore the Snyderverse. What does this entail? It entails releasing the air cut of Suicide Squad, allowing Zack to shoot, film, edit Justice League 2 and Justice League 3. It involves seeing Batfleck do his movie with Deathstroke. It involves a Deathstroke movie, and it involves a Cyborg movie. It's very important that this universe is fully actualized and expressed. There's no reason why this universe cannot be. Money is not a problem. Not only will the fans support it, but also it can be sponsored. If you haven't realized from the feedback from Zack Snyder's Justice League, as people watch it, and I have watched it now 3 times, and 1 time incompletely, and we'll be renting again. A copy of this movie as soon as my rental runs out, which will be at sometime tonight. Zack Snyder makes really great movies. You must allow him the time to breathe and to share them. HBO Max is a great venue for these movies to be made. As you can see, Zack Snyder has a following, and they will not stop until the universe is restored. Unlike any other universe that Warner Brothers and DC has in their properties, the Snyderverse is one being requested by the fans. As such, you will have fan loyalty to HBO Max and subscriptions to HBO Max because the fans want these kinds of movies. I employ HBO Max, Warner Brothers Media to find a way, and Warner Brothers Pictures if they jump on board with this. The most important thing is that Warner Brothers Pictures does not tamper with the directorial vision, not only of Zack Snyder, but of any director that they employ in their establishment to do their movies. It's important that the directors live and die by their movies, and so can be fairly assessed by critics and by fans alike. For the detractors of this movement of Zack Snyder and his movies, I say to you this. In the past, you spoke and there was very little pushback. But do understand, if you speak now, every single word you will have to hold accountable to. We will not, as fans, allow you to speak anything about Zack Snyder or his movies without a reply. We will reply to you. We will respond to something that's not true. Now, with respect to things which are your personal opinion and your personal preference to movies, if you're being honest and transparent that Zack Snyder's movies are not your kind of film, it is not your preference, we will have nothing to do or attack you for that. Your personal preference is your personal preference. However, as professionals in the industry, we will hold you to the standards that professionals have, whereby if you say something as if it is fact and not as your personal opinion, as if it is a generalized theme that you think everybody should agree on, we will hold you accountable for it. Let me just let you know abundantly clear that the Snyder Cut was a movie made under movie guidelines and a very effectual movie for those who are judging the story. So it is factually inaccurate to say that it was a poor movie or that the aspects of filmmaking, whether it's cinematography or acting or whatever you think, were substandard in this movie. We will hold you accountable when you critique any of Zack Snyder's films where we believe and deem that what you're saying are just straightforward lies. Now, having said that, there's always a role for critics in the industry. There's always a role for Hollywood in this industry. And in this world, post-Trumpian world, where we have seen people being victimized and attacked due to hate crimes, it is not surprising that sometimes Hollywood can go overboard in penalizing people and certain people because they decide to affiliate themselves with certain camps in which subsets of those camps may be hate groups. The pushback can be pretty dangerous and hard. But I must make it abundantly clear once again. We must be fair on both sides. We must keep a balanced, level-minded perspective on things. But we must not victimize people for their decisions and choices which are not detrimental to the lives of other people. Having said that, if someone has aligned themselves with the very low and vile hate groups of this country, the United States of America, the hate groups that stormed the Capitol, the hate groups that tried to hold democracy siege, it is not far-fetched for those people who have been victims of hate groups or hate crimes to have certain views about them. But let us try to cease and desist from wide sweeping statements that do not involve the parties involved. Having said that, I say as a fan of DC Comics and as a fan of this movie, The Snyder Cut, that Warner Brothers, both pictures and media, restore the Snyderverse to the fans. On change.org, there is a petition for you to sign as soon as possible, requesting that Warner Brothers restore the Snyderverse. I believe that that is very pivotal and important to the future of Warner Brothers and Warner Media continuing in this industry without hostile Disney takeover. AT&T, take note. I am Anson Phillip, Christ I am disciple. I will be doing more breakdowns on the Snyder Cut. I will do my spoiler review as far as Sunday. I will not do any spoiler reviews before that. I will be somewhat silent on YouTube, only speaking about certain things when it's necessary. As we see, the Snyder Cut is already a massive success. A lot of people have watched this movie already and are watching it probably as I'm speaking to you. I was watching it early this morning. I watched it yesterday. Once I was awake, I was watching it. And the beautiful thing about having a mobile device is you can move around doing things while you're watching the movie. And so I was able to move around the house, continue doing things, talking with people, and doing the movie. One more announcement. I will be putting out the video, which will be Us United. I want you guys to also support the Snyder Cut movement, the Release Snyder Cut movement, who's put out two songs. One, The Ride Isn't Over Yet. The Ride Ain't Over Yet. And Barry Munique, or Monique, his song, Stand Together. I want you guys to support those two songs as strongly as possible. And also Us United, particularly because my focus is on AFSP, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which I really strongly feel, including Feeding America, can make a big difference at this time in COVID. Also want to support any foundation that's against domestic abuse. So those three things are very important, and they go beyond movies. I also want to support the artistic abilities and the artistic caliber of people who have come out from the shadows and are truly showing their skills on display. It's a beautiful thing to see, especially for causes. One last thing I would like to say before I leave. If I could personally thank each one of you, fans and members of the Snyder Cut movement, I would. You made a difference. Each one of you played a different role, but it was an important and valid role for the Snyder Cut and for Fiona Zhang. Fiona Zhang lives in China. And this young nurse took it upon herself to try and help structure and bring some sort of order to the movement. Fiona, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much. Now, while some people know Fiona Zhang, there's a lot of people who don't know her. And she doesn't move trying to get any recognition for anything. And so I just wanted to bring her up. What a caring and loving person. But makes sense. She is in the health industry and she's a nurse. But thank you so very much, Fiona. You know, weren't for you, we probably wouldn't be as organized as we are. And I also want to thank the anonymous people from Release the Snyder Cut. They have all the debates and stuff now on YouTube, and a lot of you guys have come out and started to do the journalistic route and the YouTube route and critique and review movies as well. And I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. All of you really played a major part in this movement to bring this movie to light. Got a lot to say about the movie, but we can't talk about it. I don't want to spoil the movie, and I want people to go ahead and see it. And then after you guys have seen it and really enjoyed watching it, probably watched it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, maybe 10 times, then we'll crack it and we'll go into the details of it. In the meantime, I'm just going to be watching it and watching it and watching it because there's a lot of fascinating things in it that I want to talk about. And some of the theories I had proved to be true. So we're going to crack into the Snyder Cut. Now, Zack Snyder also had a watch party. For those people who could have access to HBO Max, he had a watch party. More than likely, we could be able to see that watch party a little bit later on. To my friends, Leroy Kong, Pick a Shades, Damien Anton Vincent. Just wanted to say to you guys, it's been a fun ride riding with you guys during these so many different years and talking about DC films, particularly the DCEU. Good morning, Leroy Kong. It's been a very rewarding experience. Um, you know, Leroy believes that Zack Snyder's Justice League is the greatest comic book movie ever. I can understand why. I, I mean, I could summarize that in one scene, but I won't talk about it right now. That's all spoilers, and I just don't want to go there yet. One of the, I think everybody's talking about it actually. Who's done spoilers? There is one scene in the entire of Zack Snyder's Justice League that literally has never been seen before. And I mean, they say a little child shall lead them. It's just amazing that the youngest. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I want you guys to see it and enjoy it for yourself. Uh, it's incredible, and it was also a moment that for me was very emotional. Because that scene was tied to something else. You know, it was tied to something else that gave it so much substance and meaning. And so I cried. And the other thing about Zack Snyder, Junkie XL particularly chose particular musicology, or should I say instrumentals or soundtracks, to bring forth those moments. And I think it was so uplifting. It was so uplifting. The music and everything is just so uplifting. And Crew at War Power, that theme goes throughout the movie. You hear that theme throughout the movie. And so it grows on you. And like right now, in the back of my head, I'm hearing it all the time. And it's strange because that's the theme that I actually used for Us United. And it's not executed perfectly, to be honest with you. My singing skills are not that great, but um, it's something that just keeps on eating at me. And then I was working on Crew at War Power, and I was doing my stuff. So it's gonna be really incredible. I mean, I can't wait to share the song with you guys, but it's not done. There's I'm still doing the video for it. It's gonna take me a quick minute to do the video because it involves a lot of ingredients, of which you are some of the principal ingredients, and it's difficult to garner and to edit and to fix all those little ingredients that you make up because there's so many of you. Um, Leroy Kong says Zack Snyder is still the godfather and king of the DCEU. Oh yeah, he's the father actually of the DCEU. He birthed it. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Christopher Nolan did a great job of selecting him. Um, so that's all I got for now. I wish you guys a really great day. Sign the petition. The petition is in the community section area of my channel. Go there, click on it, and sign the petition now. Sign the petition today. We need significant numbers. There, right now we're at 1,000 and something. That's not a lot. We need to get more names. And share the petition on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch, or whatever social platform you use. Share it on there. I just wanted this. I just wanted to thank all of you guys because I mean, I up to now, oh man, there's so much I want to say, but everything I want to say is spoiler material, so I can't say much. It's because it's just like I will spoil the movie, and I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone. This movie, okay, I'll talk around it. This movie, there were leaks, you know, there was glitches in the premiere. We had glitches just for the premiere, getting the premiere out. Um, a lot of glitches happened, but what a movie! What a movie! What a movie! Oh my goodness! Oh, excuse me, I'm still kind of sleepy. Oh, um, what can I say about this thing? Um, this thing was just so uh, it had so much stuff to it, and yet at the same time, like I said before, the theatrical cut had almost all the beats that this movie had. The beats were about the same, but the flesh, the theatrical was bone, and definitely bone. And what we saw as the as Zack Snyder's Justice League, the actual movie, oh my, it was just oh wow, just tremendously filled out movie. Um, it was very satisfactory. Now, some people talk about the musical choices. They didn't understand the musical choices of the movie. I'll put it to you guys this way. I felt they were appropriate for this movie. Even the musical choices for the action scenes that didn't seem, blood pumpingly, action. I believe, you know, were suitable for those scenes. Um, and some of the music seemed very simplistic, and it was meant to be that way to point out the purity of certain, because there was a selection with the king, right, in a particular scene. I'm going to talk about some of the songs that were in there. I don't think that'll spoil anything, but you know, to be the king or the king, that song, was in the movie. And then, of course, the other song, which was very beautiful, I don't know exactly know its name, but the lyrics were talking about someone who, you know, was, on a shipless sea and was, float was flowing along or gliding along and came to meet this other person, right? And ended up down their aisle instead of going the course that they were going, um, because they had gotten ejected from wherever they used to be from. And it ends up by talking about wanting to have that person in their arms. And I thought that was just a sweet song. And for the action scene that it was involved in, you wouldn't think so. In some respects, to me, even in some of the most brutal scenes, you had some of the most simplistic music that didn't seem to go with the blood pumping scene, right? And that's it reminds me a little bit of Gladiator. Ridley Scott's Gladiator would have some of these the most delicate, gentle, beautiful music being played in the midst of just tremendous violence, right? And a lot of people didn't. A lot of people kind of felt the motive force because what made Gladiator great, the 1999 film, I think it was, Ridley Scott's Gladiator great, wasn't the violence. It wasn't playing homage to the violence. It was paying homage to a simple farmer's, another farmer, a simple farmer's love of his family, his wife, and his child. That was what this entire Gladiator, the entire movie of Gladiator was all about, really, that journey. It wasn't about the great general and the great soldier, Maxus Aurelius. That was not about, it wasn't about him. It was about his simplicity, his desire to go home to his wife and child, you know. And similarly, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, um, it's always relational. See, the thing that made this movie great is the relational relationships between characters in the movie. That's what makes you want to either love them or hate them, right? And even Steppenwolf had a relational um, connection in the movie, you know, uh, that gave him the gravitas, you know, that made us want to sort of slightly empathize with him. And Pickashades, what's up, man? Leaving work to go home now and rewatch so I can write a review script. You know, it's those kinds of things. Steppenwolf was, and even the mother boxes themselves had character. Even the mother boxes themselves, you know, we understood so much about the mother boxes now. Um, and there's a lot more I would like to talk about, but I can't really. I wouldn't do that without spoiling the movie. But I'm just saying, you know, Steppenwolf. You know, Steppenwolf. You had a certain degree of empathy to him because we all knew Steppenwolf is not the main baddie of Justice League, right? Darkseid is, right? But ultimately, we were able to gather how it feels to be in Steppenwolf's position. And that was something we didn't really have in the theatrical cut. Um, some people even wanted to see more of Steppenwolf at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that in and of itself is an interesting thing. So oh, it's great. Okay. So I also appreciated that because um, one of the things that I would say about this movie and why I think it's phenomenal is that the villains, almost all the villains, and almost all of DC, well, not all the villains, but some have have been uh, have been by proxy always fantastic. And of course, it's I guess DC characters lend themselves to being that way as well. But in this movie, we had when we talk about villains, we had mention of Orm. We had mention of I hope I'm not spoiling anything. I don't think so. Aquaman, Orm, right? So we had Orm. We had Joker was in this movie. Joker was an excellent villain. We had Steppenwolf, Bradley Goodness. We had um, um, Darkseid. We had what else we had in this movie that was a villain? We had Deadshot. No, not Deadshot. Deathstroke was in this movie. Uh, Old villainous. We had Lex Luthor in this movie. Old villainous. And it lends itself to, you know, uh, it lends itself to depth, you know. If you could think of another villain that was in this movie, you know, feel free to talk about it. But by and large, it's the relationships that make a movie what it is, you know, one dimensional or not. We understood. Well, there's some questions though. I have some questions because the movie ended, and there were certain questions that I had at the end of the movie. Um, but I just wanted to emphasize on the fact that we need to um, put pressure on Warner Brothers to restore the Snyderverse. To restore the Snyderverse. I think that's critical in restoring the Snyderverse. Um, and so each and every one of you out there needs to go to change.org and sign the petition and share the petition with your friends. Um, and we know that that was trending, restore the Snyderverse, and it's a hashtag that people use quite a lot. I think that right now, actually, um, Chris Swanson from the Ping Pong Flicks actually has a piece on restoring the Snyderverse as well. But I chose to put that on my channel, bring attention to that, and remember, you guys can go to change.org, and I'm going to also put the link down in the chat in the comment section, and make sure that you share this with as much Snyder Cut fans as possible and Snyderverse fans as possible. And that's what we're going to do. Okay. All right. So I spent half an hour talking with you guys. I will catch you guys later. I have some studio work to finish up, and I have some other activities to do today to make sure that everything runs smoothly. But until then, I would just wish you guys a blessed day. God be with you guys. You know, let your heart be your key, your guide. And we'll catch you guys later. Peace.